Hello and welcome to another episode of Coach's Commentary. It was heart-wrenching to know a couple of days back that West Indies will not be making it to the World Cup in the upcoming edition, which is scheduled to be played in India in a few months' time. What a downfall this has been for people who've seen West Indies play in the 70s and 80s. They'll not be able to really believe that a nation which dominated world cricket and in the way they dominated it, or not even in the World Cup, having lost in the qualifiers. Now, that's something that will really hurt the fans of West Indies cricket. In the 70s and 80s, it was just a case of West Indies taking the field and almost just about going through the motions because their success rate was very high in every format of the game and they completely dominated international cricket. But that is what happens in sport. It's always a case of sides going through cycles. But the unfortunate thing with regard to West Indies is that uh, it's only been going down for a long period of time. There have been a lot of reasons that have been provided by the former greats who played the game and also by the former administrators of the West Indies Cricket Board. There's also been a lot of speculation as to why West Indies cricket is not being revived. But unfortunately, the long and short of it is that nobody is being able to provide a solution as to how to revive West Indies cricket to its halcyon days. Now, for me, who's played against them, who's seen them as a kid, and who's enjoyed the brand of cricket that they played, it's really gut wrenching that they will not figure in the upcoming World Cup edition because they played cricket with a different kind of flavor. They enjoyed the game. They never resorted to sledging. Jokes will fly, jokes will fly thick and fast, and they provide wholesome entertainment. The thing was that they also were willing to share their knowledge to others, and that was something which made them really special. I remember the times when Viv Richards would talk to younger batters, Malcolm Marshall would talk to the bowlers, and he'd also talk to the batters and have a quiet word about where they need to improve, failing which they will be exploited by discerning bowlers later on. That's the kind of attitude they had. They wanted everybody to improve so that the overall quality of international cricket improved. I remember when I was a kid, I read Ian Botham saying that West Indies is a place where you go to watch cricket, not to play it, for the simple reason they're really dominating. And it was impossible for any side to really even think of beating them. They had the fearsome fast bowlers coming thick and fast, and it was relentless. The supply line was obviously really good. If you thought one out of the top four got injured, you would have some respite. No, that is not to be there. Another four. In fact, at one stage, when the top four were playing for West Indies, there were four more in the reserves, and then four more were playing in the Rebel series in South Africa. That's the kind of riches there as far as fast bowlers are concerned. And then if you look at batting, it is a nightmare for the fielding side. When you had Haynes and Greenwich opening, then when you sort of broke that partnership, outwalked Viv Richards, and then you had Clive Lloyd, then you had Gus Logie, then you had Larry Gomes, and then you had Richie Richardson. And there are a lot of cricketers. And much before that, you had the Rowan Kenais, of course. Clive Lloyd has always been an integral part of West Indies cricket, and he's also perhaps been the most influential of cricketers as far as West Indies is concerned. Um, Leadership is something that he was really good at. And he kept the entire dynamics in place and he ensured that everybody was moving in the same direction towards only one particular goal. That is being the top notch side in international cricket. And they did that extraordinarily well under his captaincy. But after that, it's almost become an impossible task for West Indies cricket to stay where they were for a long period of time. Then, of course, you had wars men dominate international cricket. This is a cycle that happens. But again, the downfall and the slide of West Indies cricket is obviously been constant almost, if I can say that. They had Brian Lara, they had Courtney Watts, Curtly Ambrose, then you had Carl Hooper, then you had Chris Gale. You had a lot of fantastic cricketers. Even now, there are a lot of cricketers who are really sought after in the various leagues across the world. There are a lot of cricketers who are really hero worshipped in different parts of the world, and they're still crowd pullers. There's no doubt about that. The individuals who belong to the Caribbean islands are crowd pullers even today. But unfortunately, it's been a bizarre case of these islands not getting together and staying together and going towards a common goal. Of course, the challenges are also multifold there because uh, traveling to the Caribbean islands is expensive, cricket is expensive, and the population is also something that is not really as large as you have in other countries, which means that the sizes of the islands are also really small. So it's very difficult to keep the coffers really full all the time to promote cricket or ensure that cricketers are really paid well and they resort to sticking to cricket as a career. But that's exactly what it has come down to. It's a question of cricketers ensuring that they have financial security once they spend their youth and the prime of their lives playing cricket. And they do it by playing in different leagues across the world. And you can't read, not many can, in fact, nobody can blame them for doing that because at the end of the day, each man has to look out for himself because once a cricketer finishes playing, it becomes very difficult for him to generate the kind of revenue that he might have generated while he was playing. So it's a case of necessity, and quite obviously, uh, the solutions are not forthcoming, and it's also perhaps a situation where, despite the best efforts of all the administrators involved in running the West Indies cricket, and also despite the players wanting to really do well as one unified cricket entity, is not happening. But overall, it's something that everybody who's watched West Indies and who's a cricket fan will really feel bad about the fact that West Indies cricket is only sliding and there are no signs, at least at the moment, of them ever getting back on track. The net result is that they will not be figuring in the upcoming World Cup. Yeah, the one thing that will please the cricket lovers is the revival of West Indies cricket, and hopefully that will happen at least partly, if not completely, by the time the next World Cup is on us, and they also get to be in the final leg of the World Cup and qualify, and perhaps maybe even go on to the final stages of the next World Cup. At the moment, the cricket fans have to really bite the bullet and console themselves that they'll not get to see the brand of cricket that you get to see when players from the Caribbean play together on an international platform. On that note, I'll take leave of you, and until I catch up with you next time, be good and stay safe.